Hey YouTube. Oh Lordy, I've been on such an adventure. Such an adventure. I am in the middle of putting together a really cool event with 20 other business experts and coaches and course creators and all of those things. And I always love collaborating with people like that because I get to see so many brilliant people who are out there living into what they really know deep down inside of them is their mission, it's their purpose. They are here to help people, and I just love it. But a lot of the times I do it at a surface level because it's a mechanism that I use in my business to grow my list. But this last few weeks, it's just been amazing to me because I just decided, and I don't remember exactly what triggered it, but I just decided that time for me to be hiding has to be over. Time where I'm second guessing my value, second guessing, do my frameworks work, has to go. Because ages ago, and I am talking probably 4 or 5 years ago, I created something that I call the Think Framework. Because inside of this framework, it's really on how we change who we're being into who we actually want to be. Because one thing about this sneaky little brain we all have, which I like to call the lizard brain, and I often talk about the lizard brain when I'm teaching. I use my amethyst rock and I put my hand on it. I go, this is your lizard brain. And of course, bless his little cotton socks, he just wants to be stuck in a cave doing what he's always done. And I always call him a he, can't speak, and he doesn't actually enjoy the process of change. Now, my lizard happens to also have a whole bunch of fears. He doesn't like failure, he doesn't like success, he hates it when we're doing something new, and I can't master it like a freaking expert first time out. So you can imagine that kept me trapped and playing pretty small. But the way I compose the think framework, so it works THINK and K, and it works all the way back. Thinks is your thoughts, I is your H is the how, because we always want to know how. But what I now know to be true, my friends, is that you'll never figure out the how until you've done it. So the how becomes who. Who is the person that did this? Who did they need to be? What did they need to think in order to get you there? Because your thoughts create how you feel always. And I'm telling you right now, if your thinking and feeling is wired like mine was, you will never act. You will not create. You will not become. And so that's what my think is all about, right? And then the I is for inspiration. But what inspires us is our desires, our dreams, our deep knowing of what life could be if we could fix our thinking and become the person that we want to be, right? And then the N is all about negotiations and excuses, because what I find, the reason that we don't do what we want, what we say we want to do, is because we get trapped in our patterns. We get trapped in our old ways of being, and we do that unconsciously. And I like to call that we just live. Okay, it's where we're just surviving. We're not thriving, we just survive. Each day looks pretty similar to the last day, which means we're doomed to repetition. That's what kills more dreams than the dream itself. And then K is for knowledge. Now, most people, myself included, used to think that we had to go off and learn all of this knowledge before we could do something with it. And what I learned is that the more knowledge I acquired, the more confused I got. The more confused I got, the less I did, because I actually know what needs to be done. So that sort of brings me back to this week that I'm having and this month that I'm in, this transformation where I'm reconnecting to me. I'm reconnecting to my think framework. I'm reconnecting to the fact that I am one of the world's best project managers. And I can say that with a straight face because I have the receipts to prove that. I made 7 figures doing that. I got employed all around the world to do that. I was brought in. One of my favorite jobs was for a company called Telfort. I'm not even sure if they still exist in the Netherlands. And I was brought in to fix their billing because what had actually happened is they were over, I think it was 18 months in arrears for billing. Can you imagine a big corporate? And we had 6 months before the law would say you had to write all that off. So I was brought in to fix that. We fixed that. I, as a contractor, as a freelancer, was given this humongous big bonus, but more importantly, brought up in front of the whole freaking organization to be given this little award. It blew my brain. But that's also part of what I know, right? And then the other thing that I put into my BFF club, because I have this think, plan, prosper byline, is prosper. And why prosper? Because I used to live in destination happiness. When I get to X, I'll feel Y. When I become X, I'll do Y. Always putting it off. But prosper is all about the journey. It's about taking the think transformation, so changing your identity, becoming that version of you that has what you say you want. And the reason I'm going to say what you want is because we all say it. It's another thing to show up and get it. So that think part leads to the plan. Why planning? Because planning allows us to track it. It allows us to turn off that autopilot, turn on awareness and go, okay, I actually went to sleep here. I followed a pattern. I didn't change. And that's why I love planning. And then prosper, promise you, every failure is success. Every failure is success. That is how we prosper. That is how we get prosperous, because it's not about the big fat ass goals we set for ourselves. Because, back in my world, we used to set big, hairy, audacious goals. BHAGs. Now, these goals were pretty frightening, and I used to have this big purple monster as my BHAG guide, so that people would understand. It should scare you a little. The point of this isn't to create the goal. The point was who you became on the journey to getting to the goal. Now, some people never ever get to their goal. It's designed that way. Others don't even try. And that's where I was sitting for a long time. It's like I had a goal, but I wasn't in the game of trying to achieve it. I had put down my tool sets. I was not using Think consistently. My planning didn't get granular. I look at how I would do my sales, and honestly, people, I would do a really cool masterclass. Everybody would say how good it was, and then I would throw 3 emails and say, well, are you coming? And then that would be that. Now, nobody buys that. Nobody wants that. We need that connection. We need that experience. So this is what I'm evolving into, and I'm changing. And this is what I suggest you do for your business. Reconnect to that internal knowing, to that internal understanding of what it takes, and then just keep living into it. It's all about the journey, the emotional experience of it. I would love to support you with that inside my club, because what we do there is we use Think, we understand who we are and the gap between who we want to be. We get to work changing so that we're shifting who we are into who we want to be on the daily. We then meticulously have a plan with a BHAG that keeps us honest, that keeps us switched in, that doesn't let weeks, months, decades pass. We then prosper, because it's not the destination. It really isn't. It's how we get there. That's the joy. That's the fun. That's where we light up and hopefully blow our own damn minds, because what else are we here for, right? What else are we here for? So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you all, YouTube, because I'm pretty inspired. And I will catch you in my next little update. Take care, everyone.